Brandon?
Hi. Yeah, so I am a data scientist at NORC at the University of Chicago. I don't teach, but I do a lot with workforce development and working with students, getting kind of working with them, getting applied data science experience, a lot actually in the kind of connecting them with the federal sphere. And, I too do a lot of thinking and also empirical work on kind of ethics surrounding data science and AI. And that's, I think, yeah, I think like I see a few others. I came in late, but it sounds like a few others have maybe mentioned that. And so that's something that I would love to kind of have, more interactive discussions about.
Yeah, ethics. That's a good one. And Cynthia? Hi.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Cynthia. I'm Associate Dean for Academic Innovation and Strategy at Georgia State University in the Andrew Young School of Policy Studies. And so we're a little bit of a different beast than most of you here. We're a school of public affairs, so we're training the future bureaucrats, if you want to call them that, public policy makers and analysts for policymakers and those working in state and local governments, federal government, as well as nonprofits. And so, of course, data science is a critical field for the public sector, just as it is the private sector for insights that can inform more and better choices for the public good. And so, unfortunately, we don't have as many folks among our faculty who have these skill sets to teach our students to some of the techniques that are needed and helpful for these insights. And so we're really trying to upgrade our curricula to meet the demands that public and nonprofit organizations are asking for, for future students, but also that we think are critical for good policymaking. And so we've actually tried, we work with folks at Georgia Tech through the Public Interest Technology Group and others around the country. But I've also been working with a group of younger faculty in schools of public affairs, putting together and collaborating on resources that we can use to teach in our classrooms. And that's everything from, basic coding to, artificial intelligence and how you use that in our classrooms and for applied examples in our setting. So we're really interested in, our need is, how do we collaborate around these resources, everything from, syllabi to full courses. And we have some great younger faculty who are developing fully open courses but to be able to share those across institutions, maybe to be able to share faculty members and students sharing courses across institutions would be super helpful for us, as well as just applied projects for them to be able to work on under the guidance of those who have more expertise than maybe our faculty. So we have a group called Data Science for Public Service. I'll put that in the chat. It's just a collection of resources now, but again, geared towards public sector. So we'd be happy to collaborate on anything that you all are working on that intersects with the public sector.
Yeah, no, that's important. And there's some people I know connected with the data science for social good people as well. So, okay, I see Carl and David nodding hands. So I'm going to go to you two next I saw your hands raised. So Carl, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so Cynthia, we definitely need to talk not in this setting, apparently. Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt. I used to be at Valparaiso University, where I started their data science undergraduate program, was running their analytics and modeling master's degree. This semester, I moved to Trinity Christian College, which is just on the south side of Chicago. There I got hired as program coordinator for making a data analytics program there and starting hopefully a data center and things, which fitting in with their mission and everything else. Part of the reason I say that this data science for social good, we're hoping really to deeply integrate into what we're doing curricular wise and through the center with data science for social good stuff. The other reason I wanted to come after Cynthia was because Cynthia gave me a perfect opening, because she asked, how can we share this stuff? And I have an answer for you. And in fact, I have a really desperate plea answer for you. So I am also a member of the ACM Data Science Task Force, which is in the so if you don't know ACM is Association for Computing Machinery. So they're they're the International Professional Society for Computer Science people. Lots of computer science people are in the IEEE also, but ACM is solely computer science. And the task force that I'm on is charged with putting together a set of curricular recommendations for computing for data science undergraduates. And so we're working and releasing draft 3 sometime this spring. Part of what we intended to release with draft 3 was examples of courses that people are using and teaching data science stuff in, and how that maps to the various content that is in the recommended computing skills. So anyone that is actually teaching a class or has content or has people that are teaching classes that want to get your course stuff in front of people, this is a great way to do it, because when basically what we're looking to do is and depending upon what documents you read, so I can share the link. And in fact, I put the link to the task force webpage on the Etherboard, but I just put it in the chat. So the most recent draft is on that task force page, as is the call for it. Do not be frightened if you see exemplar courses anywhere. It just happens to be the language that sort of got floated around. We are well aware that the data science courses are all sort of in flux. We want examples of courses, and any examples of any courses, it doesn't matter whether they're in computer science or not. In fact, we'd be very happy to have a bunch of courses that are not in computer science that people have spent some time to say, oh, hey, we're teaching these things that you say are from computer science in these other courses, because what we want to be doing with this curriculum is really helping to start from the task force side, our goal is to really start the conversation about what broad curricular documentation or curricular guidelines for data science should look like. The task force is very intentionally focusing on our document is only computing things. There are several references to, and you need some statistics and math stuff, but we are not putting that in this document because we're all computer science-ish people. And so having some of those lead-ins to other places is totally fine. And our hope and sort of, I will say, we are getting some traction in starting to possibly have an interprofessional society task force that will create a general curricular guideline for undergraduate data science curriculum. But that has been very, very slow going because it has been really hard to get other professional societies that are not on the international level or used to writing extensive curricular guidelines to participate and step up and say, yeah, we can do this. So yeah, if you want to bug your ASA reps or your MAA reps or other reps for professional societies that are not IEEE or ACM, by all means, please bug them too, because we need to get, it's been slow going trying to get them to commit.
Yeah, no, this is a great thing, because then we can, and I think these are efforts we definitely want to look at too with the professional societies and taking in the guidance. There's a couple of other examples of this that they're doing something similar in the European Union right now as well around data science, as well as, you know, previous National Academies report around recommendations for undergraduate data science. We can put those links too. So yeah, adding it. Thanks, Kendra, for adding them to the Etherpad as well. So one role could be trying to connect, if people are on these calls or on different efforts or in your school's efforts, to try to connect these efforts so that we can, have some shared economies of scale, maybe around some of the things. But definitely that link, Kendra just added it to the Etherpad again. I added as well, Carl, so that you can link directly to them too.
Yeah. So like I said, anyone that has courses, we desperately need people to submit example courses because we are just not, people aren't submitting them right now. And so we really want to include those courses. So anyone that wants to get their stuff in front of other people, people will read these. And frequently what happens with the ACM curriculum stuff is people look at those example courses and then we'll reach out to people to say, oh, I want to replicate this, or I want to get your content. So it's a really great way to get, especially faculty that you think are teaching really cool courses, to get them sort of general publicity across other places and get their name out there outside of your college or university.
Do you mind as well if you could send me or us a little blurb about it? We can also send it to our partners and ask people through the hubs as well if they have courses.
I can send you that. I mean, there's a specific call letter on that page that I linked also.
Okay.
But I can send you
an equivalent
of it.
To try to get people to participate. So David, did you want to go ahead?
Sure. I'm Dave Beck at the University of Washington. I'm actually faculty in chemical engineering, but half of my life is director of research and education for our data science institute on campus called the eScience Institute. And I was waving my pen when we were talking about data science for social good programs. So we've run 6 of these in the summer. And I should say that my role is mostly to find money to pay for them. And it's really run by Sarah Stone and Anissa Tanweer, who are absolutely fantastic. And if you're interested, I can put you in touch with them. This is a 10-week-long program that we run in the summer that brings students in from a variety of disciplines and has them work with several of our data scientists on projects related to social science, human services, public policy, environment, education, urban informatics. So last year, we had a project on using data science to detect voter suppression and vote dilution, and another one on detecting disinformation around COVID. That's the link there for our program that you can see. I also put it in the Etherpad. Like I said, I don't run that program. I just try to figure out how to pay for it. I do work and teach in a number of data science education programs, mostly at the graduate level. We have one that's about to start for 2021, which is our molecular data science NRT. And so one of the things I'm really excited to learn about is strategies that you all have come up with for nucleating and creating teams of interdisciplinary students who don't know each other in a hybrid, or actually not in a hybrid, in a totally virtual environment where they don't have necessarily the same opportunities to have the water cooler moments or those unstructured moments in the classroom setting where they can find each other and make those connections.
Yeah, no, there's 2 things. One, we should have a discussion about team science is one of our new focus areas for the South, around trying to help with large interdisciplinary teams of scientists, but then also just trying to talk through that idea of the students also have interdisciplinary flavor to them too. And Sarah Stone, who runs that program, is actually the deputy director for the West Hub. So she was just talking to us about, a group of people that are running programs. We have a program here as well in data science for social good. There's one in Chicago. There's a couple in other places, but she's forming a group of those programs to try and look at best practices eventually. So Sarah might be a good person to talk through those that are interested in data science for social good. That group, we're hoping to, have her, she's leading the group, but to also get recommendations from them about how to best start these programs and what they've done and what some of their processes. So that might be something that we could loop in, maybe have her give a presentation on at some point about what they're finding.
I think they're going to put out a white paper on that too. Does that sound right, Renata?
Yeah, she was talking about a white paper that might put out as well. But just the interaction, so that people can see your face and talk to her directly if you want to get in touch with her. She's a extremely personal and good person to know as well. Okay, so let's go with Lenore. You want to introduce yourself? Hi, you're mute.
Sorry, I was muted.
There you go.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to meet you. Can you all hear me now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, good. I am currently, my interest in all of this is mostly about building pipelines for undergraduates to go on to graduate school. That's my personal interest. I'm also here with my hat as PI of the Tufts tripods, but I'm interested in pipelines for undergraduate research, undergraduate mentoring, and bringing undergraduates into contact with data science as it's done for reals, and so they get interested in going on for graduate education. There's been so much about social good and ethics. Do you guys all get the HDR newsletter? Probably not. So there's a project that we've started to try to write undergraduate level case studies in ethics that came out of actually the PI meeting that Renata ran, some of the discussions. And I could probably put the link into chat. It's open to everybody. The nice thing about it's not a very ambitious project, but with a couple of hours, if you have an idea for a data science ethics case study, we'd like you to write one. Or if you want to help somebody else write one, or you want one on a particular topic, there's a place. It's just all crowdsourced in a Google Doc, kind of like the Etherpad. I can put the main link both in chat and in the Etherpad in case anyone is interested in that. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. For Etherpad. So, Nick Horton, do you want to introduce?
Yeah, I'm sorry for the disruption and comings and goings and things. I'm a professor at Amherst College, and I'm particularly interested in aspects of building data acumen for undergraduates, ensuring that's really done in a way that's diverse and inclusive, and also building connections with community colleges. I'm a co-PI on the Wrangle, Analyze, Visualize, the Harnessing the Data Revolution data science core project. Andy Ziffler is part of that project as well. And it's great to have a chance to participate.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks. And Sam?
Good morning. Sam Donovan at the University of Pittsburgh in biology, and focused on helping faculty become more comfortable and fluent using big data, data science principles and practices, and integrating those throughout the undergraduate biology curriculum. Not exclusive to collaborations with others, but there's a lot of work to be done in biology. Ecology and evolution is way ahead of the game with big data sets, bioinformatics, obviously, but we run a project called Cubes, which essentially allows faculty to share resources and collaborate in their own professional development.
And he's being modest. Cubes has done a huge amount in faculty development, and they have a platform, so just putting the link there too. So they've helped other faculty communities to engage in shared coursework. So Sam is downplaying, but they've done quite a bit in this space for a number of years. That some is translatable, I think really well translatable into data science as well in some of their models. So, Frank?
Hi, my name is Frank Stomp. I teach at Navajo Technical University, which is a school on the Navajo Reservation in New Mexico. We have an associate's program in computer science, and the idea is to extend it to a bachelor's program in the next step. And I am looking in how students could be exposed to some data science. It couldn't be too technical, but at least so that they get an idea about what data science is. On a personal note, I am interested in maybe establishing some collaborations to do some work together. I have to look for collaborations outside. Because of my own background, I had my education in Holland. I am mainly interested in more foundational aspects in data science. So that is me.
Yeah, maybe connecting with some of the tripods, foundational people and foundational aspects of data science. May?
Hi, my name is Mai Nguyen. I'm a researcher at the University of California, San Diego. So I'm PI on one of the HDR Ideas Lab project to build a knowledge-based system for synthetic biology. But I'm also teaching a course in a new data science undergraduate at UCSD. And I'm interested to hear how other people are developing their curriculum so that, you know, data science is different from computer science, for example. So be interested to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. It's a shared curriculum development. Monica? Brown? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. First of all, I apologize for keeping my video off. It's just unstable today, so I don't mean to be rude, but it's nice to see all of you. I am a faculty member up at St. Catherine University up here in St. Paul, Minnesota, and we just recently started a data science undergraduate curriculum, and so I'm here mainly just to really hear all the fabulous ideas and ways that we can connect and looking to build the program. St. Catherine is a small women's college, and mainly focused on the liberal arts, but how to bring data science into our curriculum and into our school, and really interested in the data for social good part of it, and see how we could benefit our surrounding community as well as our internal St. Kate's community. So thank you for this platform.
Great. It's great to meet you. Thank you for coming. Cheryl? You there? Mute? Go forward. We'll come back. Cheryl. Jianwu?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, I'm Alisa Jianwu Wang, assistant professor of data science at University of Maryland, Bardeen County. I taught a big data course at graduate level at my university, and I'm currently a PI on the NSF cyber training project on how to connect big data HPC with domain science. I put the link in the chat right now. This program is ending. So my interest in this working group is first. I think I'm scheduled to give a talk in this working group in June. I want to share my experience with this, how big data can be, because we all know big data is useful for other disciplines. How to link this either educational or research perspective work with other disciplines. My interest also is a little bit on the curriculum. Because we have such a group of experts, how we can collectively do something, contribute back to the community. For example, some white paper or something to have our own recommendation. I think that's someone mentioned the task force. I think that's a very good way to go. And also others will be because I have such a projects, whether other people are interested to leverage on these efforts to for them to have a bigger collaboration together. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Wahid?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks, Renata, for organizing this along with others. So my name is Wahid Bajwa. I'm a faculty at Rutgers in ECE and statistics. And my connections to HDR are that I have a joint grant with two collaborators, one of whom is here, Chris Tunnell and Hagit Shatke. In terms of why I joined this group, one of my interests is that I'm quite, even though I'm doing a lot of research, I'm quite passionate about the teaching aspect, especially the undergraduate teaching. I have been playing around with flipped teaching of my classrooms, and for the last 3 years, I have started offering machine learning for undergraduates because I felt that most of the machine learning classes are either too low level in terms of just, here are the libraries and you can run them, or they are meant for graduate students. So I wanted to introduce something for undergraduate students, accessible to all engineering majors, as long as they had taken probability and linear algebra. And some of the things that we have been doing there is a mix of like helping them understand the fundamentals from both at least some mathematical basis, as well as teaching them how much to trust these library solutions and how much they should question them. One of the things I have noticed during the 3 years is that, for example, the data sets that are available for students to do hands-on activity, they are too clean. They have already been, very nicely managed in Kaggle and so that is one of the challenges that we always face, which is how do we teach them those kinds of things. The issue of ethics came up. I spent at least 1 to 2 lectures on ethics, telling them, you have to understand what, the results can only be as good as the kind of data or the biases that go into creating those data sets. So all of those things. So I'm hoping, from this working group that perhaps we can come to some, at least some resources where I can overcome some of these challenges and, provide students a learning experience that is really reflective of the real world, and not, teach them every concept using, let's say, MNIST images again and again and again. So that's my story.
Great. No, thank you. And so I want to be sure that we can get everyone in, and that we still have a little bit of time, at the end to just talk about some of the opportunities going forward. So we will, I think this is a good format. I think we're going to do this again, or at least have people discuss what they want. So this won't be the last time as well to get it. And if you also want to put some things in the Etherpad, I do want to just go around and just make sure that people know, where you are and where you're from. And then we can try and look at some of the recurring themes that have come up around, either curriculum or social good or ethics. So these other things that we're hearing, to try and +1 those in the Etherpad as well. It'll stay up. And getting connected directly through the email, but really this idea of maybe doing more task force, because I think the one thing that happens, and we've done several different working groups, is that people will find each other on one call and they'll pair up, but then on subsequent calls, it's hard to know who else is interested in that area, who else can bring resources to that area. So sometimes it's nice to also have a dedicated space that people know who's interested in what, and there's some type of regularity to maybe even meet so that it can grow and scale in some cases too. But that email, so that if people want to connect directly to, but as we try to scale on some of these bigger topics, like curricula or other things, it may be good to keep the dialogue going. So I'm gonna just go around, but maybe just a little bit quicker. So Adam, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, I'm Adam LeMay. I work at University of Central Florida in the physics department, but I do a lot of outreach to the K-12 world. Sorry, Renata, was I the Adam that you were talking about?
Yes, you are.
Okay, I saw you grinning. I didn't know.
And we talked about earlier is other people that are interested in middle school teaching as well. So I know that's a thing you're doing. Chris Tunnel?
Yeah. It's also nice to hear. I like that there's so many physicists. So I'm at Rice University, assistant professor of physics, astronomy, and CS. So by research, I'm a computational particle physicist hired through a data science initiative. And my interest in education is sort of selfish. It's hard to find people trained in what I want to do. So I teach a project-based data science course in engineering. It's mainly CS and ECE students. Next semester, on the short term, I'm adapting that to a physics course. I was originally going to have it be a mix of engineering students and physics ones, but the pandemic, and I had to improvise. I'm very interested in learning how people bring sort of experiential data science courses to physical sciences. There's many considerations educationally, but also bureaucratically. I also run a cyber training project that's more about training in our field. But really my long-term plan is sort of 10-year plan is just to integrate data better into the physics and hopefully natural sciences education, because we stress mathematical ability, just because back when, well, the old textbooks, that's sort of just the technical skill you needed to do things. And we haven't really updated it in the last 50 years. So.
Yeah. No, and there's lots of streaming data in physics now, so it's the way to be. Sean, and then I'm do Donnell after that. Yeah, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Did you call my name?
Yes.
Okay, so what am I speaking to?
Just saying your name, just where you're from.
Oh, okay, you already got me. Al Heron, STEM
I'm
Tech
not
Foundation.
Al, I said Sean. Sorry.
Okay.
Renata, which Sean? Is it Sean Firuzian or the other Sean?
This
Hi, I'm Sean Firuzian, math faculty at Miracosta College in San Diego County. And we're working on starting our data science program. And I'm trying to get our CS and CSIT faculty together so we can look at, I think we have all the pieces. We just need to meet and start. And I'd love to hear from people who have established programs and they can share resources. I'm also part of the California Chancellor's Office Statistics Institute, and we have been organizing professional development for new stat teachers across the state. So love to hear your PD experiences as well. And thank you, Renata, for having me up. I've been trying to join the meetings, and every time something comes up, and we are on the other side of the country, so the time difference makes it
yes, it makes it, yeah. We have the West Coast, so 11 is kind of like the earliest you can go before it gets unreasonable. So Donna, am I saying that right?
Yeah, thank you, Renata. Yeah, my name is Donald O'Leary. I work for the National Ecological Observatory Network, or NEON, on the education and engagement team. Nice to meet you all. At NEON, we know that many educators are interested in using our data sets as a part of their big data curriculum. So I'd really like to make myself available to the community. Happy to support your teaching. I am an educator myself, and I have a pretty deep background in remote sensing. So if you're interested in that in particular, I'd love to talk. In terms of what I'm here to learn, one thing we're focused on at NEON is the development of culturally relevant data sets that are of interest to more local populations, especially kind of nearby urban areas or close to our domain support facilities or our field sites. I think one thing that ecology has imagined for a long time is that it is separate from society and that it's kind of socially agnostic. But as we are now in the Anthropocene, that's impossible to extract ecology from society. So we want to better understand how to make that pairing and how that becomes apparent in our data sets. So yeah, nice to meet you all. Thanks, Renata.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that's a great point, as you know, bridging the data with also the curricula aspects for the social good all mixed together there. Okay, so Stephen.
Hi, Steve Fansala here. I'm Director of Advanced Analytics at Carnegie Learning in Pittsburgh. I'm also a co-PI of an HDR frameworks grant called the Learner Data Institute. So my interest is sort of collecting data from learning and training environments that you might all have, and thinking about how to use those data to improve learning experiences, engineer improved learning experiences, that sort of thing. So happy to hear more about what everybody's working on.
Yeah, happy to hear. Okay, so quick back. If Cheryl still wants to do, I'm saving the home team for last, the hubs as well, so that we can talk briefly together. So I think if there's somebody that I missed, please, I have RM and Cheryl, and then I think we might have gotten everybody. Okay, so real quick, so like I said, home team. So we have some people from the other hubs I see here. So Shannon McKean, who is the Deputy Director for the South Hub. Shannon's right there at UNC. Florence Hudson, who's the Executive Director for the Midwest Hub at Columbia. And John McMullen, who's the Executive Director for the Midwest Hub, for the Northeast Hub, sorry. And for the Midwest, I was looking at John, Midwest Hub, who's at University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. And I think that we also have an executive director in the West. She's not here, but Meredith Lee. And together we cover all 50 states and territories. And really the mission of the hub is to, all of the hubs, is to help promote data science innovation and to also build connections between domain researchers and different topics. We all have a lot of priority areas. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the opportunities, and maybe you guys can talk too for next year. They're just through the hubs, and then we can talk about some of the recurring topics we've talked about for the actual working group and building those in. So if you can, self-select. Things we've heard so far have been like curriculum building, a lot of people dealing with undergraduate education, bringing in data science for social good with data sets and with applications in a lot of different areas, even to policy, working with data science in other disciplines, biology, remote sensing, and other things like that. And the opportunity to collaborate, even as far as curriculum, but also into teaching or into shared resources or, building things together. So, those are topics that, as we want to kick off, if people are interested in leading task force or putting together a particular topic based on what you've heard today, you can put that in the Etherpad, and we'll try next year we want to reach out to you to try and see about maybe putting together these task force so that we can do more work together. We can hear about what each other's doing, but also doing, work together that can help move everyone forward or help with all of the things. As data science, we talk about is halfway through becoming a profession. A profession is one where you actually have, certified bodies to be able to certify what skills and for what pieces, and how we practice data science in so many different ways that it's not really a discipline. It's really a practice, like practicing medicine or practicing law. Each case is different. Each use case is different, and the skills and techniques can be different. And so in that same way, it may, we want to have that same variety reflected here in the working group. So for us, for the South, I won't do the presentation because it'll take too long, but I'll put it up in some ways. We have a seed grant program. This is across all of the hubs where we're interested in having promoting work that shares that mission, that is not necessarily fundamental research work, but work that really helps with connecting. For us, where we're interested in how those connections are built, people taking on leadership for building bridges around data science, education being one of our priority areas, particularly in the South, and we can talk through the other ones for the other groups, and how their seed funds are set up. So ours was going to open in 2021 in May. And we have 3 levels, up to $10,000, up to $50,000, up to $100,000. We've funded some this year, one for a consortium for HBCUs in data science, the Data Science HBCU Consortium, some that deal with K-12 in different areas, some that are social good. So K-12 and I think North Carolina and Florida, and also homelessness data in Delaware. Delaware is part of our southern states. We always have to remind them, Delaware to Texas. And so these are the types of things that we're interested in people, taking on leadership from this. If there are particular topics that can be pushed forward, we'd be really interested in having you. And the other hubs have different slight variations on the seed fund, but we all have a seed fund. So no matter what region you're in, you can apply to your regional hub for seed funds. In the South, we also have a program for faculty development in data science, which is called Data Up. And that is a program where faculty teams can apply from a school or from multi-institutionals. And we will provide you with a 2-day workshop on a topic at your university. Then all the universities that are brought together have a train the trainers, where we train the faculty on the research best practices for teaching data science. And so that is actually happening right now for the current cohort. These next 2 days, this is the last day of their train the trainers. And then the next year, those faculty teams then create modules or courses or run workshops at their own institution as part of the end of the program. So Data Up is also going to be open next spring as well. As you can look at it on our website. So Kendra, if you put the South Big Data Hub website, you can see Data Up. And then finally, the program for faculty and postdocs, research scientists, all the way through students for fellows is the PEPIG program, where people can apply to work with a federal government partner. And faculty have done it to secure research collaborations. Also, students can become fellows that work directly with the government partner. And this year, it's the Department of Homeland Security. And so that is going to also be opening in the spring. So those are the 3 programs that I wanted to talk about. You can also see them on the site that are available. There are opportunities for faculty to work with government. We've had nonprofits and industry before as part of PEPIG, but this year it's going to be Homeland Security. And doing faculty development and also seed grants. So I'd love to see, some of these ideas that we have some mechanisms to move forward with work. So we have a minute, but so John and Florence or Shannon, do you want to say anything about opportunities that people might be able to do through the Midwest? So John, go ahead.
Sure, yeah, so we're very similar to the South Hub that Renata talked about, but all of the hubs have regional differences based upon the needs and interests of our communities. And so in the Midwest, we are very focused on capacity building and train the trainer kinds of activities with a very sharp interest on small institutions, under-resourced institutions, so tribal colleges and universities, community colleges, minority serving institutions, very interested in working with those folks to help build out their capacity for training students and overall workforce development. So happy to hear from folks about that. Glad to see so many Midwest folks on the call today.
Lawrence?
Okay, great. Real quick. So I'm in the Northeast, I'm at Columbia, and we actually launched a Northeast Student Data Corps a couple of months ago as part of our Seed Fund program. And so I'd love to reach out to the people that are in the Northeast. I mean, I'd love to invite you all. And that's part of what I think we should talk about is how we can leverage each other. So I put a link to it under my name of the Northeast Student Data Corps. Our goal is to build an inclusive community of data scientists, starting with the students. So we have a content and pedagogy team, and we have IBM's donated their open data science for all curriculum on GitHub. We found some at Berkeley, MIT, and now you all brought some up. I think we could have a place that all of us can go to, put the open data science curriculum. We're creating a peer instructors team led by undergraduate and graduate students to have study hours, so to bring the students in and get them comfortable with data science if they haven't been in it before. And then an outreach team that will find teachers and learners to participate in the program. including students that may not be in an institution and don't have access to this type of work. And then they also are going to work with industry and not-for-profits and municipal governments to find internships for the students. So it's like a whole life cycle of making them aware, students aware of data science, helping them get started, nurturing them and creating relationships so that they're used to having this very inclusive view as we talk about bias and ethics in data science, that they're used to listening to each other, the underserved and the ones that have been involved in it. So I'd love to make that, the N can go national. We can change what the N stands for, the National Student Data Corps. Maybe it's something we'd all want to do together. So that's the idea. I put my email in the Etherpad if anybody wants to email me about it.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we can feel free. One thing I do want to ask is if you have other thoughts, if you about what we can move forward. We're going to really take your suggestions for next year and looking at task force. So if you're interested in leading a certain effort, please reach out. I will put my email address is also in there, but I will also put it in the Etherpad. But you can get attached to what we're doing through our newsletters. We also have a YouTube channel that we keep these when we do demo talks, they're going to be up on the South Big Data Hub YouTube channel. We also do demos of a cyber infrastructure and data sharing infrastructure working group. That's the All Hubs working group, but it'll be on the South Hub YouTube channel. And you can also just contact and reach out to me if you're interested in leadership, or in leading some particular efforts, because we want to be able to, have a nucleation, maybe some times to talk as a team, for those of you who are interested in curriculum development or are working to put together undergraduate or K-12 resources. So on the Etherpad, we'll list some of those options for January 2021 that we've heard so far. And please reach out or put a star or something by your name if you'd be interested in moving forward with those things. So this is the last one for 2020. Please, I'm glad that everyone was able to join. Again, have a good rest of your year. We will send the same time in January, but we're going to start collecting. So if you also have links to some of the things we talked about, if you can put them in the chat. Kendra has been moving down to the Etherpad, and we'll collect them with the other Etherpads that have happened throughout the fall to look at what resources. So if you want to have a place to go back to look at what others have done and putting together the resources we've talked about, that'll also be at southbigdatahub.org. Under this education working group, we'll have a link to the combined resources coming up in the fall. So if you add them in, we will keep them and keep moving forward. So thank you, everyone. Does anyone, and we'll see you next year, hopefully, with a whole new, brand new crack on the year. So 2021 has to be different than 2020, right? Correct. So exactly. Well, thank you. Bye. It's good to see you. Good to see you.
Thank you, Renata. This was great. Thank you so much. It's great to meet all these kindred spirits in this. We have to work together. I'm all excited.
We do.
Yeah, very cool. Take care.
Bye now. Bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Have a great one. You? Bye. All right.
I know I didn't disconnect yet. Sorry. I'm like typing.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I always stick around just in case people want to chat. It's fine.
I agree. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is I can send, if it's okay with you, when you announce the plan for January, I can invite my whole founding committee. We have like 20 people on it. And we have, the content and pedagogy going, the peer instructors team and stuff. So if we can